Hey y'all, so we are at the gas station. I'm finna put some gas in my car because when I pulled up, I literally had no gas, y'all. It's only by God's grace that I even made it. We just paid rent. Rent was due yesterday. I just got my hair done, so I literally only have like $30 in my bank account, and I don't want to spend it all because after this, I want to go out to eat and get some hookah. This is just to show y'all I literally have no gas. Like, it's like none. Unfortunately, I have to get the 93 one, which is the most expensive one. Okay. It's at $10. We need to stop it because it's gonna take all my money. So we stopped there right at $15. Let me show y'all my car. My car, she's so pretty. All right, y'all, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it gave me 76 miles. Don't mind the tire thing. My tire is flat and I can't afford a new one right now. $15 put 70 miles in my vehicle, which means I'm able to go to the lounge and get some hookah.
Yo, is this girl math? I know it's not girl math, right? This can't be the fabled girl math. This is just bad. This is bad budgeting. It's bad economics. You have a car that's too expensive, apparently rent that's too expensive, or something in your lifestyle needs to change drastically. But we know it's difficult. We know it's unlikely to change because when you easily influenced by other people, by social media, by looking good, meanwhile, no one really influences you and talks about your finances and how to get those in order to supplement the life you want. You've got nothing in the proper order. But it's more important that you look good, that you can flex, that you can go out and enjoy one of your vices is hookah. And listen, don't get me wrong. I enjoy hookah as much as anyone else, but I only really when I'm on vacation. Listen, before you continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day. Now, I want to use this video to highlight something that we know is a issue within the community, and not just community. I think this sort of in the United States is how we spend our money versus how we think about other people. Why we spend this money? We're more concerned with the status. We're more concerned about looking good. So we get cars that we don't need, or we get cars at exorbitant interest rates, and which result in larger, monthly payments, so we can look cool, so we can look better. So now we can believe that our status is elevated, and then we should demand from the rest of the world that they reflect that. If you have rent, and then your car is nearly as much as your rent, or is half of your rent, but you don't have the income to actually supply this. Anyway, and I'm not just kind of pulling this out of my ass. She's telling herself she paid rent late, and she has $30 left in her bank account, and she still wants to spend 15 of that, and then the rest she wants to say, "Listen, we're gonna get some hookah," while she has a flat tire. My car's gorgeous, right? Maybe I would have went a different way in a different color, but the way she must think of her status versus how everyone else would, if I got to the nitty gritty, would actually see. How many videos and how many people can relate when they've gotten to know someone, they've gotten close to a shorty, and then when you get to the point where you get to talk about, or you get to see how they live versus how their outward appearance is a huge dichotomy, is a huge difference. One of the things that we should all be thankful for, besides when IG opened itself up to the rest of the world, aka Androids, you increase the user base, so people got to see what everyone else looked like, what their lives look like. This is before we were highly skilled at curating our lives and highly skilled at looking at the angles, looking at everything that's around, the shot. Then you got to see the bathrooms. Then you get to see the state of the rooms. And you're looking at some of the most attractive, some of the baddest baddies you've seen in your life. And then you're watching and seeing, well, why is there a mattress on the floor? I thought you lived like this. I see the name brand clothing, bags, you're out at all the spots, you're in the popular places, but your life is very different. Same thing with the guys. If you've ever been anywhere in Miami and you see the Lambos, you see the Lambo trucks, and if you have a supercar, a sports car, after a certain age, you like to open it up. You like that the power is there. But when you're just trying to go 60 feet to a red light, you're not sitting there gunning it, blasting the music out there, being obnoxious because you want to be seen. It comes from understanding intrinsically, internally, that you lack status. And we keep this in the Black community right now, that you lack status. And then you observe the trappings of status. You observe the jewelry, you observe the watches, the cars, the homes. So even for a brief moment in time, you want to obtain that and be seen with it. You want people to know that you are that without understanding one of the fundamental rules that people with that can actually afford it have. It's not used and thrown in people's face. Once you achieve said status, you don't need the rest of the world to know it. In fact, sometimes you appreciate not having everyone know what you have or what your status is. It's of course that old say that current saying, if you know, you know. If you know where to go, where the wealthy people sort of move and where them when they're there, how they move, then you'll see it. Then you'll understand it. Most probably the most important thing is you understand once you and I tell people this, and especially tell my brother, when it's just we're like the same person, we're just kind of out of temporal step. When I first made $100,000, a year, and like it was secure, this was the thing. The first thing I did, I went to my brother, told him, "This is what not to do. You're on the track, you're going to make this, and I just want to save you years of telling you what not to do." It feels amazing. It feels like I finally hit it, but what it is, you feel as if you're climbing a mountain, right? Just climbing a mountain. When you reach the summit and the fog and the clouds part, then you reach and then you look up and you see actual mountains, and you realize you were climbing a small hill. Where we think is amazing, that place to be, that standard, where I'm going to now achieve that status, you realize there are giants among us. You realize now, like this status is just this is a step along the journey. Sure, enjoy your stuff, but you know what it took to actually get that. And now you have a better understanding of what it takes to maintain it. Real wealth is not about, I have to now go exchange my time for this luxury. No, I've created enough assets, streams of revenue that pay for the luxury liabilities, the depreciating assets that, hey, this is kind of fun, but you had to have everything else knocked out in a row. You don't understand that when you're just observing status, when you're just observing the trappings of wealth, you think that's what it is. I get that. And all of a sudden, the world will know. The world will open up for me. But so you go, the spring break and you rent the Lambo, you rent the Lambo truck, you rent the Porsche, and you think somehow people look and it conveys this thing to you. No, people look and say, we know it's rented. We know it's rented because you do not have the bearing of someone with that money. You do not have the affect. You do not have what it looks like when we see people that have worked for it. You don't have that. There's a different level of appreciation of this thing. You don't see people who actually own Lamborghinis playing with that in South Beach, right? During spring break, you don't see that. You see them going places where they can enjoy their wealth. And sometimes, a lot of times, none of us are there. There's a Charlemagne the God once said a long time ago when he goes to Antigua, he said there's a force field of wealth that keeps people out. Just the price of going there. And then to be clear, I'm not a fan of Charlemagne the God, right? And this is coming from a New Yorker. I'm not a fan. I like that he brought mental health to the forefront, but he's got so many other takes that I'm like, I don't agree with any of these. But if you got something to add or you disagree entirely with what I'm saying, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. I think you got something to add and help us make something great. I'll see you in the next one.